Hey, what's up? It is Joey Little, your social little man, here on Election Tuesday in the United States of America, live from Kansas City. So thanks for joining me on the Facebook Live and also with the podcast. Appreciate everybody that tunes in, gives their 2 cents, even those lurkers out there that just kind of watch and get something from this. So I do appreciate the messages and the emails that I get from a lot of you that are not so upfront in the Facebook Lives, giving your opinion and your comments. But also appreciate all of you that jump right in there. I did vote this morning, but we're not going to talk about the election today. This is probably the only post that's going to go on Facebook that and on LinkedIn and on Twitter across the board that has nothing to do with the election today. We're going to be talking data mining versus equity mining and how you can have a complete customer portfolio management system, how you can set it up. If you this one's going to be focused more towards the auto industry, but if you're in any other kind of industry, there's a lot of takeaways from this that you're going to really enjoy. A lot of cool stuff, hopefully, that you'll get from this and change some processes that you have when it comes to your sales process and moving forward with the end result, which is making more money, which is selling more of your goods and services. So the difference first between equity mining and data mining. So equity mining pretty much is just letting you know when a customer is not upside down, or not upside down, but when a customer has got enough equity in whatever they've purchased from you that you're able to probably sell them something else with really no money down or any exchange. This happens a lot in the auto industry when it comes to vehicle buyback, things like that. That is equity mining. There are tons of companies out there that do equity mining software that will do that for you. Tons of them. Now, data mining. Data mining completely different. So data mining is, it's got the essence of equity mining, but there's so much more to it. It's taking the analytics from your data and putting together pretty much a portfolio of what somebody can buy. What's the difference? Data mining will take in effect, will look at a customer being upside down. So the high interest rate or whatever it is, your equity mining tool may say that this customer is back in market or ready to go, not back in market, but is eligible to get back into a vehicle, no money, but it doesn't take in effect that the customer may be upside down. It doesn't take in the fact that the customer has more money on their loan than they probably than you think they do. Some people will put taxes on their loan or other things, the extras. So, what's the difference? What we're going to start with, and it's pretty much a big difference there. But what we're going to start with is your customer base. Now, think about this. So, most dealers that I see online, I'm part of a lot of private, and like I said, we're going to be talking automotive retail here. There's a lot of dealers that are online that they are struggling with new leads, and the importance of why they need more leads, because they think they're going to get more sales. And the more leads you have coming in, depending on what your show ratio is, and then what your close percentage is off those shows, meaning that if you're not in the auto industry, it kind of breaks down like this: in the automotive retail side. Leads come in, customers go online, they fill out forms, they want to get more information on a vehicle. That form then goes into the dealership. The dealership then reaches out to the customer and sees that they can set them up to come look at some vehicles, maybe do a test drive, set an appointment to come inside the dealership. Once they get inside the dealership, then the floor sales then comes in, and the floor sales then move them towards purchasing. Now, on average, about, I think nationwide, about 12% of leads are closed, which means that 12% of all the leads that come in will actually buy a vehicle. 50% of the people that actually submit a lead and then set up an appointment will end up buying a vehicle. So there's so many analytics on the back end of this. And we are trying so hard, the auto industry is trying so hard to get more leads. This is where Auto Trader comes in. This is where Car Gurus is in here. This is even True Car. There are so many what we call third-party lead providers that are out there. Two ways that well, not two ways, but digitally, kind of, there's two ways that car dealerships do get leads. One is through their own website, so setting up search engine optimization, so people are online and they Google, 2015 Ford F-150 for sale Kansas City, that they'll show up on a website, your website, hopefully, if you're a car dealer, then submit some information on your website wanting to get more information about that F-150. Then you reach out, then the process starts. The other way is through third parties. So a lot of the third party sites, Auto Trader, Cars.com, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, they run advertising to get people, to get customers to not just go to Google out what they want, but actually go to autotrader.com and fill in that they're looking for a 2015 Ford F-150. Then dealers will actually pay money to third party sites like Auto Trader to get Auto Trader to take that lead, if that person fills out for more information, to get them the lead to their dealership. And they're competing against so many other dealerships. I mean, just think about it this way. If you're a Ford store here in Kansas City, in the Kansas City area alone, there is probably, I've got it on my screen here, probably what, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's probably 21 dealerships in the Kansas City kind of regional market. We're going all the way out to like Topeka and then out to like Waverly, Missouri. So about 21 Ford dealerships alone. Now there's 21 Ford dealerships fighting to get new leads into their system. And they're doing everything they can. They're paying money for Auto Trader. They're paying money for Cars.com. They're paying money for radio. They're paying money for everything to get new customers to submit a lead that they can get, then they can start working that customer. Now think about all the other brands that are in the Kansas City area. So if there's 21 Ford dealerships, and that's not a quote, it's just a guesstimate off of what I'm looking at here. How many other dealerships are here? How many competitors? So Chevy's a big competitor of Ford. Also, if you want to go non-domestic, you're going Toyota, if you're going Nissan, et cetera, there is a ton of dealerships. Just look at it next time you check it out when you're just a layman that's driving down the road and you go past one of these, Miracle Mile type places that has dealership after dealership after dealership after dealership. They're all fighting for your business, and they're all spending a lot of money on your business. I'm reading the Elon Musk biography, and Elon Musk created a business when he came to America from Canada, went from South Africa to Canada and then came down. He was one of the first that developed almost like a Google Maps, but not, it was a way that you can put in your destination. And the way that he was trying to sell it was selling it to local businesses so they could first be on the web. This is back in like 1995, 97-ish. And he's trying to get them so they'll be on the web, and nobody wanted to do it. The number one place when he finally got consultants to come in that people are going to start listing themselves online, guess what? It was auto dealerships. That auto ship, was all from South Africa as well. Yeah, Elon Musk coming from South Africa. I do apologize to everybody that's listening to this on their headphones. I forgot to turn the sound off on the old cell phone recording the Facebook Live. Maybe I can still do it. You never know. Let's see. Just going to take a break here real quick. Yeah, we can. So Elon then goes after car dealerships because it was said at the time they spend a lot of money to get new customers. Car dealerships spend a lot of money to get new leads. The problem with that is they're competing against everybody else. But who do we know, if you have a good customer who has bought from you before, that is serviced with you, taking your car into service at a dealership, who is an easier customer to bring back in to sell a car to? That's your existing customer base. Now, if you have a really crappy sales process where your customers are leaving feeling like they got ripped off or things like that, then your return customer base is probably going to be a little bit more hesitant to come in. But most car dealerships, because of CSI, customer satisfaction indexes coming from the OEMs, Ford, Toyota, Nissan, et cetera, are trying to make it so customers are having a good experience, and they're getting feedback from customers, and they're actually dinging and making sure that car dealerships, Arnold comes in and says it depends on you put them on a 94-month loan. The car dealerships are now being, really kind of aware of their customer service because they're now kind of recognizing on a very, very small, thin place is the return customers are absolutely extremely important. So we're going to get kind of how this fits into data mining later on. But extreme, we call a first-party audience, which is somebody who's never done business with you before, which is somebody who's never experienced a buying process from you before, who's never experienced a service process with you before, who's never experienced anything about your dealership before. That's a first-party audience. Or I'm sorry, I get those backwards. That's somebody who has bought from you before. Excuse me. The unknown shopper is what I'm talking about. That's somebody who's never bought from you before. Not a current customer or previously purchased at your dealership. An unknown digital shopper, high cost for you to try to track and see who that customer is and if they're going to submit a lead or not. Those are the people that are coming on your website and bouncing off. The average cost to obtain an unknown customer right now is right around $600. To get an unknown customer that's ever done business with you before. Good morning to everybody that's coming in. Mike Davenport, Chevy Dudes here. Sherry, all the way down the panhandle of Florida. Thanks for joining me. But we're talking about the unknown shopper. And like I said, this works not only in the automotive industry, but outside the automotive industry. Yes, $600 plus dollars, $645. This is right about that average. And Arnold keying in with that. Yes. Now we talk about the first party audience. These are current customers that know and already trust your business and trust your dealership. They have a customer that has purchased from you in the past. They are maybe a service customer that purchased at a different place, but has taken their vehicle to your dealership to get service, conquest. These customers are less than $150 to obtain, to keep. Less than $150 compared to $600 to $650 for an unknown customer. That also has the highest profit potential. So less than Arnold's coming in with $50 is how much it costs. And, and the numbers are out there. So every online shopper when it comes to a vehicle purchase is looking for two things, hardcore two things. Does anybody want to guess what the two things, and Arnold's probably going to pop in here too. What are the two things that every unknown shopper that's online looking for a vehicle that you to obtain, what are they looking for? They're looking for the lowest price, and they're absolutely looking for the lowest payment. Payment is becoming almost so much more important than price point. So much. You dealers out there, you know this. Payment is becoming. So they're looking for lowest price. They're looking for lowest payments, which actually puts you in the situation where you're making the lowest profit and your lower commissions. It's on an unknown shopper. So the most effective audience that you need to be looking at is your current customer base. Data mining your current customer base. Think about it right now. I don't know if you have this access, but how many records do you have inside your DMS at this moment? For the layman and anybody else, a data management system. Data management system, pretty much the brain for the dealership that keeps records of all the customers, what they bought, VIN numbers, service. So you've got totally different ways that you can look at this. Equity mining is just such a dirty word. It's such a dirty marketing term that if you hear of a company that specializes in equity mining, you need to turn and walk away. What you need to look for is data mining. So we're going to look at just a couple things that you can look at when it comes to your own database of customers. One, you can look at customers that can upgrade to a 2016 or a 2017 for the same exact payment that they're making on their 14, 13, 12. That's one. Number two, what about lease customers? How many of your sales or your customers are actually lease customers? You can look and see based off of service, et cetera, if a leasing customer is going to go over their mileage allowance. That way you can get them into a newer lease quicker. So you can let them know, hey, listen, you're on track to have to pay $3,700 at the end of your lease. But here's what we can do. We can make some things work here and get you into a different leasing vehicle. Number three, warranties. Who right now is data mining warranties? When your warranty is up, you're going to get that. You're going to get a hope and spray type alarm that's going to, Kenny's coming in and saying, how do you know you can get the same payment? So here's what you have to look for. Kenny, you have to look for a company. And of course, I'm going to talk about Auto Alert all day long. This just happens to be, we do this, and there's not a whole lot of companies that do this. That will take all the incentives, and we're just talking about new cars right now, Kenny. Only new vehicles. When you sell them the car, you know what the payment is. You know what they're upside down. You know what it has to get to. But what you have to take into consideration, which no equity mining company does, only data mining, is you've got to desk every single deal that's inside your DMS every time the OEM changes the incentives. Every time a new incentive comes out, every deal inside your DMS needs to be desked. Every single one of them. And taking the current value of the car, black book, blue book, taking the payment situation, and then also taking all the incentives that are coming in from the OEM. And it desks every single deal. And when it does that, it should give you a list of customers that right now, if you invited them to come into the dealership, or if they're having service or whatever it is, that you can say to them without any money down, I can get you in a 17 for the exact same price or maybe even lower than what you're paying for this current 14, and we'll just make the deal. That's all it is. It's as simple as that. Every incentive coming from the OEM has to be desked. Now here's the problem in our industry, is there's no third party or data mining companies that are doing CPOs. It's all new vehicles. What about your CPOs? What about your certified pre-owns? Nobody's doing it. We are. We found out how to do it. We found out how to data mine and be able to tell on a CPO when you're able to switch keys, get them to something better, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Arnold's saying you should also know their credit for what it's. So that's even simple too. You need to find something that's going to do a soft credit pull. Something that's going to be just do it a soft. You should do a soft credit pull on every equity or data or inequity customer that's coming through your service drive for the day. And if you have that opportunity, Yeah, Kenny, our software does do that. Our software will do everything for you. It's crazy. You can have somebody. We on data mining have an opportunity, and this is something if you promote auto alert, I can do it all day long. What I want to promote is how you can make more money. You make more money. We make more money as vendors and as consultants, and et cetera, et cetera. And Arnold's, and I'm going to answer Kenny's questions about what was it, structure a deal? No, excuse me. Once again, on the podcast up here, also doing the Facebook Live. Later on, this will be on YouTube. You can join the Facebook Live by just going to facebook.com/social little man. Send me a friend request. We'll hook it up. When you're in a service drive, if you're not checking every single customer that comes in, I'm talking conquest customers that never bought from you in the first place to do service with you, but customers that also did buy from you this soon. If you're not running every single VIN number and desking every single deal that comes through your service drive, you are missing out on money. You are losing money. You might as well just take a wad of $100 bills, put them in your hand, and light them on fire and keep yourself warm this winter that way, because you are losing money. You should desk every single deal that comes through your service drive. Every single car that comes through your service drive needs to be desked. Run the VIN number, run the software, see what you got, and see what that customer. Because here's one thing: you're going to hit that customer with an $800 service RO, but at the same time, you can also tell them, hey, listen, but we can switch keys right now. We're looking for this vehicle. We got into warranties. How are you knowing when warranties are up? Warranties is a whole. There's dealerships out there that are making hand over fist money when it comes to warranty. Look at Ben Cusick coming in. I need to work service customers. Great advice. You have to work service customers. You have to. You have so much potential revenue inside your service department when it comes to new vehicle sales and CPOs that there's so much potential there. You have to desk every deal, and you have to know when the new incentives come out, and those new incentives have to be in there. Can I print something for every RO? What Ben is doing here is what we call a TO, or TO. Everything. Think about this. If you get the amount of your service customers, get every service customer for the next day. Let's say the night before, the afternoon before, you got all your service customers for the next day. And you're able to print out basically a statement for every single one of those customers when they come in for service, and those ones that are eligible to trade keys with you basically for no money down. You don't do product presentation and demo before dealing. Absolutely. You can. But you print out basically a statement for every single customer that comes through your service drive for the next day, and you have it ready for them. So when that customer pulls in for service at their 10:40 appointment, not only are you going to have your service writer writing them up for something, but at the same time, you're going to have a salesperson that's going to be available to be, hey, listen, check this out. This is what you're eligible for. Here it is. Boom. A printout. A deal sheet right there. Exactly. Kevin's saying, why you're sitting, instead of sitting in the showroom right now, I know you got this beautiful 2013 Ford Explorer, but wait, have you thought about a 2016? Because you're absolutely eligible right now to trade keys with me. And that's what it is. And it would, I'm trying to read Ben's. It would have been owner milestones in Addy SCVCs for the office. Yeah. Unless you stuck them in a 94 a month loan. But still, that's the same thing. You still, you're looking for the data that's going to provide that information. I know dealership right now that I'm going to go see next week that has a tower in the service drive. They have a sales tower in the service drive. Now think about how many ROs do you do in a month? How many ROs do you do in a month? And how many potential customers do you have that are coming in? It's a lot. Service alerts. Yeah, that we just talked about that. How you can get notified if you have somebody who's coming in for service that's able to switch keys with you. How about contracts on your leases? Next week I will be in Lexington. Gonna go check out my friend JP out there too. Arnold here, Reina. Port Richie. I'm sorry, I get distracted sometimes. I'm sorry that people are listening to the podcast. I read the Facebook messages, and unfortunately, the messages don't come up on YouTube either. So it just looks like this idiotic man that's just kind of pausing for a minute and just speaking to himself or talking to the voices in his head. You can identify customers that are in a flex, so that are eligible to trade now. It all comes down to CPOs as well. How many new car customers do you have? How many certified pre-owned customers do you have? It's got to be both. You can't just do one. You've got to do both. So how easy does it make that? How does this work into a customer portfolio management system that you need to create? If you're a salesperson at the dealership and you're standing out there waiting for an up, you're absolutely just wasting time. You are having money stolen out of your pocket. Money is just being taken out of your pocket. You're walking around a lot looking for an up. Come on, this is not 2001. or 1997. Walking around the lot looking for ups is not the way to do it anymore. You can lease used cars now. This would be a strong trade up to someone with the same payment. Absolutely. So why should you consider the audience that you have that's already inside your system that you can do data mining on? Because the closing ratio is much, much, much higher. Much higher. So high. You want to do some Donald Trump here? It's so high. It's the most beautiful. It's the most highest. It's higher than anything's ever been. It's anything less than that is disastrous. That's it. That's my Trump for the day. It is election day, so I had to throw that in there. It's amazing. So points to consider. Drivers, according to U.S. Vehicle registration data analysis, length of ownership hits an all-time high at 68 months. Customers are keeping their vehicles for, it's huge. Customers are keeping their vehicles 68 or getting those terms for 68 months. 36 months after the third year of owning a new vehicle, make loyalty and manufacturer loyalty decline. That's when it starts going down. So 36 months into it is when that customer having loyalty to you or your brand starts to go down. It's not good. It's 3 years. You got to get in before that. 63% of customers would like to upgrade their cars every 3 years or less. Did you hear that? 63% of customers would like to. Here's what I hear every day. Every day of my life in the layman terms or the layman world of people that don't sell cars, because I got two different worlds. I know a ton of people that sell cars and I know a ton of people that buy cars. And here's the biggest thing. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. I'm in my car right now. I still got 2 years I got to pay on my car. I can't make that right now. I can't do it. I can't get a new car. They don't know. They don't know what they don't know. That's why you're here to tell them that you can trade keys with them and you need their vehicle and you're going to give them top dollar blue book, black book value, and you're just going to switch them out. It's a win-win situation, but customers don't know that. And what do? What do you guys do out there? What do our car dealers do? We send out a hope and spray postcard, or we do a a radio commercial or a TV commercial, and all we say in the automotive retail world is, we need your car. We want to buy your car from you. What does that tell the customer? That tells the customer that you want to buy our car. That's it. You don't do anything for the customer. You don't say, and get you in a brand new one for the exact same payment that you're making on this 14, 13, 12. Even the older it is, the payment even goes down. I may even get you a better rate. We're professionals here. We're here to sell things, and you're here to sell cars. It tells the customers you want to sell them a car. It doesn't tell them anything. It just tells them that you want the vehicle. Most customers don't understand that. They want to know why. And most customers will think that if you want to buy their vehicle for $10,000, that you're going to turn around and resell it for $18,000, and you're going to screw them out of $8,000 that they could probably have done if they put it on Craigslist themselves. That's the way they think. So vehicle buyback, maybe you're getting customers in, yeah, but are you getting as many as you can? Absolutely not. 75% of consumers would be very likely or somewhat likely to trade in their vehicle today if their monthly payment would remain about the same. That's from a study. Yes, 75% of your customers would trade up today. So you follow these things, you look at data mining, you look at how you can do this, you do the service drive, 20% increase in sales. Easily, 20% increase in sales. The problem with that is my car is completely paid off. I certainly don't want to add a payment. Well, Sherry, you are adding a payment. So let me explain this. And so your car breaks down tomorrow. How do you have to pay to get it fixed? So what you have to do, what everybody says, every single economist that I know that talks about personal wealth and all that thing, they say no matter what your car payment was, you should be putting that in a savings account, even though you're not making payments on your car, for that just in case day. Just in case day that your transmission goes out. Just in case day that your axles go out. That just in case day you need everything that's not going to be covered. Arnold T. Arena says, here's a good stat. 80% of every car shopper that leaves their house to visit a dealership left with the intent of coming home with a new car. It's true. But most customers don't know what they don't know. More margin, 21%. You can work with more margin with your existing customer date. It's in your average trade cycle. Look at it, 36 months. So what can you do? Best way to review your audience, best way to review your customer is absolutely through data mining. True portfolio management system, 100%. It guides you to find out who can get in a vehicle that doesn't really even know they can get in a vehicle, but wants to get in a vehicle. Let me say that again. You have the opportunity at your fingertips to let you know who you've already sold to or do service with that can get into a new vehicle that they didn't know they could get into a new vehicle. What can you do? You can sign up with AutoAlert. You can. You can do it old school. I mean, you can do pen and paper. You can do this all day long. Get in your DMS, take the incentives, match them together, blah, blah, blah. Excuse me. So what's funny is I use you guys on here on the Facebook Live because next week I have a big meeting in San Antonio, Texas. Going to be speaking to a very large group and have to teach them and tell them things that they didn't know about your current customer base. And how does one-to-one marketing work in this situation? And how does that fit together? One-to-one marketing and data mining. Next week I'm in Lexington. Oh, this week I'm in San Antonio. Thank you, Arnold. You almost got me screwed up. It just comes down to one-to-one marketing. If you're sending a hope and spray postcard out to everybody saying you have a vehicle buyback sale, you're maybe getting some customers in. You're maybe getting enough to pay for the postcard, probably, possibly. Depends on how your salespeople are. But if you're able to send a one-to-one statement to every single customer that you've just desked every single deal in your DMS, and you're able to send a letter to every single one of those people, a letter with their name on it, with their vehicle, with what their payments are now, with how many months they have left in their payments, with here's the new car, here's the exact same payment right here, and all you have to do is bring this letter in, show it to us, and we'll switch you out. Come on. Why are you doing this? Why aren't dealers doing this? Why are not majority of dealers doing this? You want to make more money, but you're sitting there and you're spending so much money on new leads coming in. So much. It's costing you $600 or more per lead or per sold customer of ones you've never done business with before. When in reality, it will cost you less than $150 per sale for customers that you've done business with. It's all about retention. It's all about retention. We are so focused. I want the Glengarry Glen Russ leads. Coffee is for closers. Thank you, Arnold. We are so focused on new leads that everybody is forgotten current customers. And what do? You haven't forgot current customers, but your salespeople have, because you set up some kind of CRM, right? And how do I know this? Because we built one. You set up a CRM that has automatic emails, automatic things that go out every 3 months, every 6 months, every 18 months, every 24 months, et cetera, et cetera. And it's an auto email that comes from the CRM that has, it's basically a hope and spray email. And you send birthday cards, and you send car birthday cards, which is the birth of whenever they bought their vehicle. And you just hope and spray them. You hope and spray them all day long, and you hope they come back. But yet, our focus is on the new customers, the new leads that are coming in. And here's the weird thing. Dealerships are spending $600 plus to get a lead of somebody who's already in their DMS. So that's how it comes down. Single dealership loyalty, very hard to come by. But it's possible. It is possible. Households with multiple dealer events like service purchases are using different dealerships over the years. 70% of households are switching back and forth from dealerships. You can stop that. So, I do appreciate today the difference between data mining, or how you say it completely. There's a whole different side to this too, but I'm coming up on a half an hour. There's a whole different side to this too, is customer behavior online. So what if you knew a customer who you could trade keys with, right? You haven't reached out to him yet. The new incentives just desked, right? You get the list. The new leads are crap. Yeah. You just desked every deal in your system. You come back with a list of 250 customers that you can swap keys with, and then you're able to take that customer list and you're able to see customer data online, that which one of those customers are actually have been online recently shopping for a new vehicle, even though they weren't on your website. How many of those customers are clicking on Facebook posts that have to do with make model content marketing that comes from your employees or your dealership, et cetera, et cetera? How can you then start taking customer behavior data, putting it with your data mining, and coming up with the lowest hanging fruit that you'll ever see in your entire adult professional life. We're talking about fruit that's sitting on the ground. So not only are you going to see who you can trade keys with, who's actually been shopping for a vehicle. And those cherry picked. Those are simple. So next time you see a dealership, a guy or a lady, we'll talk about a guy right now. Dealerships have the ladies in a white shirt and a tie and a little nameplate on their shirt, and they're just walking around the lot, kicking tires, waiting for somebody to pull in. Just look at them and think, I wonder what it's like to live in the 90s. Yeesh. Unless you visit a nursing home, probably some low-hanging fruit there. Arnold with the final joke of the day. So I do appreciate it. Thanks for also letting me practice a little bit on who I'm going to be talking to next week. If we want to know more about data mining, there's a link in the website or in the Facebook Live, or you can just send me a message or whatever it is. Hello, Steve. Thanks for joining me. So data mining, get equity mining out of your mouth, get it out of your brain. Keep it data. So I had a great time. I have a great time in every one of these. It's election day. If you want to vote, vote. If you don't want to vote, don't vote. Do whatever you want to do. Just do me a favor, and don't talk about it on Facebook. All right, I did earlier, then I had to delete it. So I'm out. Have a great day. All right, everybody, keep smiling.